Hi, everybody. This is Elena of the Witch's Box, and we're here with a pre recorded guided meditation ritual for our usual Fridays at 10 a.m. Pacific time. Today, we're doing a pre recorded one because I am not in town to do a live guided meditation with all of you, but I'm definitely thinking about all of you today and throughout the weeks because the 10 a.m. slot on Fridays is like it's kind of a special thing. I love that we do this every Friday. It's just a beautiful way to weave in ritual and a moment of internal work throughout our busy week. So, obviously, this is pre recorded, but it's not edited. So, this is going to flow just about exactly as it does when we do our live gatherings. And sadly, without the initial like checking in and chatter that we do together, but we can do that next week. So really specifically and quickly, what I want to give is a little bit of an introduction to this meditation before we jump into it. This is a highly, highly, highly visual meditation. I know that I try to tell you in the very beginning if it's going to require a lot of internal visualization or not. This one is very visually driven, whereas there are other guided meditations that we've done here that don't really require any or maybe just a little bit of internal visualization. So I know that some of you have some challenges around that. This might not be the meditation for you. However, I always encourage you to try, because with just about everyone, some people are born just with the capacity to have an incredibly lush, super detailed and varied internal visual world. And some of us have had to work at it, right? And for me, I certainly still over the course of my life, even though I'm a very visual person, working towards increasing my capacity for having a very detailed internal visual life has taken years, and there has been improvement throughout that time. So even if it's something that is really incredibly difficult for you, try it. The worst that can happen is that you don't see anything. For those of you who do want to do this guided meditation and you have this kind of challenge, you can do it so that you write it down. I'm going to be guiding us through an internal visualization, but if you really want to do the work and you are one of those people who really just struggle with that level of detail when it comes to internal visualization, write the answers to the questions as they come, write them down. Because essentially, yes, this is a guided meditation, but essentially this is a spell. And this is a tool that you can use for spell casting at any point in your life with anything that you want. And it's based on the premise of if you can visualize it, it can happen. You have already, like if you visualized that at the end of this year, I'm going to be standing in the middle of my brand new apartment or my brand new home, and you can flesh out all of the details of what it is that you're experiencing, what you're feeling, what you're tasting and smelling and hearing, as well as what's there, who's there, how are you behaving, how do you emotionally feel. When we put ourselves in those positions, often when there's a specific goal in mind, when there's a specific thing that we're trying to manifest, we are casting a spell. We are weaving that reality into our future so that one day we will land at that moment. And so use this often if it's something that really speaks to you and that you feel a facility with. Look, we've got a ton of different types of spells that spell forms, right, that we can use to cast spells for whatever we want. Some of the ones that I present to you are going to feel much more familiar and much more easeful to you based on a million different characteristics about who you are and what works best for you. So this is certainly not the only way. This is a way. So if you find that you do this and you feel like, oh my God, this really resonates with me, I love this form of spell casting and manifestation, do this often, because over time, especially do it often with the same thing, because this is the kind of spell that you would build and build and build and build over time. It wouldn't necessarily be a one and done. It can be for a simple ritual, but when it's an elaborate ritual, it can be when it's a simple intention, but if it's an elaborate intention where it is a very different reality than the one that you're living, like a markedly different reality, you need to work into that reality regularly. So for something large, like I want to live in a different country and I want to have a mansion and I want to have a couple $1 million in my bank account, like something so very different, vastly removed from the life that I have now, that would take incremental work. It would take feeding that visual, that reality often and regularly over time. If it's I don't know, what's a really simple intention? If it's simply, I really want to have an amazing day tomorrow, you visualize your day, your entire schedule, and how you move through the day and how you respond to everything. So you only need to do that once, right? Something like that. You just visualize yourself doing the thing in the way that you want to do it. You only have to really do that once, maybe a couple times, and that's all. Yeah. So does that make sense? Okay. I because we're not doing this live, I'm feeling a little discombobulated with my like routines. So give me a second to find my, there it is, my lighter. Get yourself comfortable. This is the beauty of something being pre-recorded. You can just hit pause so that you can get your meditative seat in order, get your candle, get your incense, get the things that you really need, turn off the lights, and then we're going to start. So I'm going to light it here. I really love that I found this again. It's beautiful altarpiece, but this represents all of us in circle, no matter at what time we're doing this ritual. So there you go. And begin by closing your eyes and getting comfortable in your seat. And then just tune in to what your breath sounds like. Your natural breathing, you're not changing the way you're breathing, you're just paying attention to what the breath sounds like coming in and out of your body. Allow that natural flow and that sound and that inner attention to soften you and relax you in your seat. You've arrived, you're here, there's nowhere else to be. You're finally tuning in, tuning inward, and letting all the things outside of you fall away. You also want to begin paying attention to what it feels like in your body to breathe. Is there any movement or stretching in your rib cage, your back, your belly? What are you feeling physically? And now you can slowly begin to breathe with a little bit more intention. We want to deepen and lengthen the breath so that the inhale is slow and deeper. You're taking in more air, stretching your lungs a little bit more than usual. And then on the exhale, you're going to also go very slow, like you want to really savor every bit of that air before it leaves you forever. Always paying attention to what it sounds like and always paying attention to what it feels like to breathe like this. You can play a little bit here where you can take in as much air as you can, where it's a full bodied stretch to hold it all, and then release it slowly. And then you can back it up a little bit, right? So that you do take a very long and deep inhale, but you're not taking it to the fullest capacity where you might be a little uncomfortable. You want to feel it, but you don't want to be uncomfortable so that it's distracting. Taking a long, deep breath and then release it slowly. And let that become your rhythm, your sacred pace that your body is moving in right now. You can keep this breath going while layering in the practice of relaxing your body at each exhale. So that the exhale is a cleansing ritual, right? There's tension or discomfort or a holding or even maybe a distraction or an emotion that might come up. The exhale is there as a tool to use to release even just a little bit of that. Each breath becomes another cleansing cycle. You clear it out, whatever doesn't serve you. And if you want, you can even tell that to your exhale. You can give it its intention, and you can tell it that your job is to release all things that don't serve. And trust that that is what it will do. Allow your breath to be both a stabilizer and a nourishment. It stabilizes you in your body and in the moment in a very centering and grounding way. And it nourishes you. The air is free and it flows abundantly, touching every single cell of your body. Each inhale brings you further into your body, opening you up to receive, and each exhale is a release of tension. And again, anything that's not serving you right now. Each exhale is a clearing of the slate. So it clears the tension, it clears the mental chatter, even if it's for a nanosecond. Every single time you exhale, you have an opportunity to release it all again. It's a beautiful practice. It gets you a much stronger muscle when it comes to letting go of the distraction. Each exhale is a clearing of the slate. And now, in this place that you are within yourself, bring up a situation that you want to make a reality for yourself. It can be in the next week, it can be in the next month, it can be at the end of the next 5 years, but something that you're clear about. You really want to reach this manifestation, this new state of being, this new reality, whatever it might be, something that you would spell for that has to do very specifically with you and your lived experience. Bring up that thing for yourself, that accomplishment or that manifestation. Specifically, what do you want to experience or have? And the answer might come verbally to you, and that's okay, but match that verbal with the visual of whatever that might be. So maybe it's even like something like a conversation. Visualize yourself having that conversation with whatever that person is. If it's an object, imagine the object in your hands, in your life. Match the words with the visual. Who is involved in this? Who else other than you is involved in this? If it's no one else, that's okay too. But just be clear about who is involved in this. And when you know who that is, visualize them, hear their voice, remind yourself of what it feels like to be in their presence. And if you've never been in their presence, imagine what it would feel like physically to be in their presence. And how do you feel in the middle of this lived reality? How do you feel in the middle of this lived reality? How do you feel physically? How do you feel emotionally? How do you feel psychologically? Identify it, yes, but also allow yourself to feel it. Call up that state in you right now. Make this immersive for yourself. So, how do you feel in the middle of this lived reality? Look around you. Take in what's around you right now and what you're wearing. You've arrived, you're in this lived experience, this new reality that you're creating. What are you wearing? Look at your shoes, your pants, your skirt, whatever it is, your dress. Look at every article of clothing that you're wearing right now. Take in as much detail as you can, including how the fabric feels. How does it feel against your skin? How does it feel when you reach your hand over to touch it? Where are you in this created reality? Right now, where are you standing in this reality? What time of day is it? You've arrived. The new reality has been created. You're in it fully. What time is it in this reality? Take some time to really flesh out how you got there, what it feels like, what it smells like, and what you're doing. If you get distracted, you can return back to the breath and let your breath be the map that brings you back to this visualization. Flesh it out. What are the details? Are you in a particular space? What's the weather? Is the thing heavy or light or beautiful or liberating? Flesh out the entire experience that you're now having in this new, yet to be fully manifested reality. Remember that you are and you have placed yourself thoroughly into this reality while continuing to breathe. keeping pace, and imbuing this reality with the life of your breath. And now you're here. You're in this reality. You have begun the work of fleshing it out, of feeling it, of checking into what emotions it's evoked in you, who might be there, what you're wearing, what the weather is, what the time is. Now, what are you going to do? Like, what's the step beyond this achievement? Where do you walk to? What do you do with the thing that you just manifested? Don't think big and broad and 5 more years down the road. Think about the next thing that you do once you've received or achieved this manifestation. What's next? Allow yourself to actually walk that path and do the thing, whatever it might be. Engage all of your senses in this next step and then the next step. Follow it through, see where it leads. You can move around. You can do something that you would normally do in this situation, or specifically what you'd want to do in this situation. You want to live out this entire reality. Let it pull you along. Keep going as far as you can go. Like, really take some time to invest in fleshing out not just the static arrival at this reality, but the movement that happens after you've arrived, after you've received, after you've manifested. And linger and indulge yourself in this fantasy manifestation creation ritual for as long as you can. And then naturally, when you feel like you've gone as far as you need to, thank yourself and your capacity for manifestation, and then slowly bring yourself back out of the meditation. We're going to end the video now, but I encourage you to linger and continue this work until you feel complete. And then you trace your steps right back to where you are sitting in this chair doing the meditation. Blessed be.